Hello and welcome to Dinosaur Juice. This is a Toyota Yaris, very kindly lent to me for a month by Toyota, which meant I've had a month with a practical car. Those who don't know me, because it's possible that there's people new to the channel, I own a 1974 MG Midget and a not much more practical smart roadster. So having something that rides comfortably, is very spacious, it's quite nice. But I have owned cars with solid roofs in the past. I owned a Fiat Grande Punto. There is a review of that as well if you're interested in this kind of car, but you want something for less than £1,000 rather than £15,000 this costs when new. Is this a good car at £15,000 new? How do you want to define a good car? If you want your car to get you from A to B, this is a very good car. Consistently in reliability studies, the Yaris comes out top. I believe there was one recently, I think it's What Car or Which, one of the two, sorry to people who work in those magazines, who did a reliability study and they didn't get a single problem with a Yaris. It's an A to B car, okay, it's reliable. Well, it's also quite spacious as well. There's loads of room for the driver, passenger. You've got a decent space between you, decent space between you and the door, and you've got a good armrest on the door. There's none in the middle. Some people will be disappointed with that. Personally, I never really use a centre armrest anyway, so not something that I'm particularly worried about. In the back, there's a surprisingly large amount of space. I mean, the Yaris at least was a small car. I mean, these days it's creeping up in size like everything else is, but, you know, it's definitely not a big car. There's a surprisingly large amount of space in the rear. Yeah, you would struggle to have a tall person driving and a tall person sitting behind the driver. But other than that, you're definitely going to have enough space for 4 adults in this car. The 5th adult might be a bit squeezed, but there's definitely loads of space. And it's comfortable as well, so I don't think people would mind too much going on a reasonably long journey with 4 in it.
Equipment levels. Well, this Yaris has been out for a little while, so it shows a little with the tech levels. The sat-nav is my least favourite part about the car. It definitely functions as a sat-nav and can get you anywhere in the country, really, but it has a slow refresh rate, which means occasionally it can be annoying at junctions and a bit annoying to use. Other than that, the tech is quite good, and I think the phone connectivity is excellent. Genuinely didn't have a single issue, and it was very easy to use and to change tracks on my phone and to call people. I miss the phone connectivity a lot when driving one of my other vehicles. It's that well implemented, but other rivals maybe are a little bit newer in the technology they offer.
The stereo system itself isn't branded, but it's very good. You can really crank up the volume and it keeps there, it doesn't distort and it doesn't seem to damage the speakers at all or anything like that, which is good because I like to have my music quite loud after a long journey to try and keep myself awake. Whilst we're in traffic, as we said, it is a manual, but this car is available as a hybrid, which is essentially an automatic for driving purposes, and I think there's an automatic version that isn't hybrid. Yeah, either system works very nicely, I think. The hybrid and the manual, I don't know about the normal automatic. Now, engine-wise, this has a 1.5 litre, naturally aspirated, and it generates 109 horsepower, I think. It gets it moving. Trust me, you don't want more power in this car as is. And it's great for getting you up to speed. Does lack a little bit of low down torque. It's not like these little turbocharged engines, infinite grunt. It does lack a little bit down low. But it's very free to rev, so to be honest, doesn't really mess you up often. Now, talking about this one being a manual, clutch is a little bit lacking in feel. Might mess you up the first time you take it for a test drive. To be honest, just drive it a little bit longer. Ask whoever's doing it, can I drive it for a little bit longer? You will get used to the clutch, and once you're used to the clutch, it's fine. It's very easy to use. And on a motorway, stop-start traffic, you might be thanking it for having such a low weight in it. This car is extremely comfortable. And how it does that is by being set up comfortably. So if you're after that, great. If you're not after that and you want a sporty drive, it doesn't provide it, unfortunately. But there's so many of its rivals that do provide that, and they are uncomfortable. They bounce and throw you about. This car is set up to be comfortable. It's being bought by people who just want to drive normally. So what happens if you start driving this car quickly? Well, you don't have to worry too much on the safety front. The brakes are very good. And it lets you know through the chassis that it's not happy with you. Basically, you'll go into a corner kind of quickly and it will roll a lot. And you will notice it's rolling a lot. And if you push through that, you're being a bit stupid, to be honest. Because you can definitely tell the car is not wanting to go much faster around these corners from that. If you push through it, nothing unpredictable happens. It understeers. The steering, whilst nicely weighted, does lack a little bit of feel, like most modern steering systems. Brakes are well weighted and judged. You do get to feel a good bite, actually, and it bites nicely, so the brakes are nicely done. The throttle pedal, the weight is good, but it's not very linear in its approach. Maybe when you're first driving, that adds a little bit to the clutch being a bit annoying. It also has a reversing camera. The reversing camera itself is very good, very nicely laid out. It doesn't have those little lines that show when you turn the steering wheel, shows you where you're going to go, which is a shame because I think they're very useful. What it does have is a little red line to show you where to stop, which I quite like. It is a very nice camera for a car around this price. There are some nicer, but I have seen cars that don't even offer it, and cars where it's really quite grainy and quite unpleasant to use. So also you get quite a large screen. The heater controls, during the day you have to look a long way down to use them. In the night they're pretty much unusable, to be honest, for getting what you want, because they're marked by these little tiny squares that light up where the position that you're in is marked by that. And when you're trying to look at where to put the heater control and you're driving along, you don't have enough time to go, where is it just a tiny little bit brighter than the rest. Speaking about being lit blue, the dials are done that way, and I really like it. I think it looks attractive. And then, talking of looks, the car is conservative, especially if you get it in white. White seems to be a colour that Toyota are a fan of, and I never like cars in white. If you get it in a metallic blue and as a bitone, so with the black roof, it looks very handsome. So it really is about choosing your spec on the car. if you want something that looks nice. But as a white car, it's a little bit dull. It sort of just goes, I am car. Which is what quite a lot of people want. Quite a lot of people think cars are A to B. And this is the ultimate A to B. And that means quite a lot of flair seems to be worked out of it. Little bits creep through. You can definitely tell Toyota engineers want to do something exciting. So little air vents, which are inside, they've got these little fan blades that turn when you turn them on. And they're a wonderfully elegant solution. It doesn't need to be like that. There's a much simpler way of doing it, but it is like that, and I love it. Right, so we're pulling on to a motorway, and here's a good talking point actually that I forgot, is the mirror is very good. Very big mirror. It's quite nice on the motorway, to be honest. It doesn't like to dart about. It is quite slab-sided and a bit lightweight, so if it's very windy, you can feel the wind. Fuel economy things. So if you drive this car carefully, and I mean carefully, you can get 60 miles to the gallon easily. If you drive carefully but decide to travel on the motorway at 70, you'll get about 58. But on the whole, it's a very fuel efficient car. And if fuel efficiency is your main concern, there's a hybrid version. Now, from the hybrids that I've driven, I think on the motorway, they don't really add much. In a city, it's a huge assistance. And the heavier Yaris that I drove was getting easily in the mid-60s. This little light Yaris claims in the 70s. Do I believe it? Yes, I do. They made a crazy little hot hatch version of this car called the Yaris GRMN. And that thing is bonkers, but a bit pricey. So they've taken their bonkersness, gone, well, what do we like about this? What can we kind of fit in? And they have tweaked up their hybrid version. That car, Toyota, when you release that, please let me drive one. Because this car is a very good car. It just lacks that little bit of spark that makes you want it as someone who's enthusiastic about cars. And that car looks like that's fixed that problem.
Thank you so much, Toyota, for lending me a car for a month. I love that little Yaris, and it was good fun. If you would like to see a video about a Lexus, there's a link here. Soon there'll be a video about the Toyota Yaris, but I'm having difficulty with the video file on that. And please subscribe to the channel if you want to see more car reviews, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra!